big, small. على كيفك ما يهمك زاهد. Don't worry about it. I got you. فنحن كمسلمين نهدف إلى إصلاح الباطل. We as believers, as Muslims, we should make it our goal to rectify our inner self. ثم نتبعه الظواهر. Then we should work to focus on our outer appearance. But you know the opposite is the case. نحن نهتم بماذا؟ إنما نهتم بالظواهر. الحجاب والمساجد واللحى أو اللحى والجلابيب. نعم. والمدارس والقرآن موجود على الدلابيب وفي المكاتب. We find ourselves really focusing on the hijab, the beard, the long film, Qur'ans on our bookshelves. وننسى أن لهذه أهداف. We also forget on the same token that there are goals behind these. We even focus on the masjid. As we said, and the schools and everything else, we establish all of this stuff. Then what? بعد ذلك متى؟ بعد ذلك ماذا؟ بعد ذلك ماذا؟ لابد أن يكون من إصلاح القلوب وإصلاح المجتمع. We need to focus thereafter on the rectification of our hearts and the rectification of our societies. We're going to start with understanding what a Tahaarah is. Tell me what Tahaarah is. What is purification? Tahaarah. Naam. Tahaarah is purification. Naam. Purification before ibadah. الطهارة هي النظافة والنزاهة عن الأقدار والنجاسة. Tahaarah is being clean. Naam, being clean and being far removed from any type of dirt and filth. But the najasa is najasatul ma'na وكذلك نجاسة العين. There are two types of filth. There's filth that is filth of meaning, basically a spiritual filth. And then there's the actual filth. For example, urine, stool, these are actual filthy things. But kibr, arrogance, ujub, conceit, bughd wa ghadab, anger and hatred, these are filths of the inner self. But what's more important? Being clean from stool, which is number 2, or urine, or being clean from arrogance? أيهما أولى? Which one is more important? Being clean from arrogance. Yeah? Good. So as long as we understand that this is a tool, which is being clean from najasat is a tool to being clean from najasat al-ma'na. najasat al-ma'na. Allah Jalla wa ala said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِرْ, and clean your clothes. Allah Jalla wa ala told us also, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُوبًا فَطَهَّرُوا, if you are in a state of janabah, then purify yourself, which is with ghusl. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يقبل الله ولا تقبل صلاة بغير طهور not a single prayer will be accepted without purification. Prophet Muhammad also said, "At-tuhuru shatrul iman." Purification is half of faith. Purification is half of what? Half of faith. So we understand that Tahaarah is Tahaaratun ma'nawiyya wa Tahaaratun hissiyya. Purification is actual purification, and we call it a purification of meaning or abstract purification. So, yourself and myself, when you purify yourself and I purify myself, we say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Therefore you purify yourself from any type of deity that you're worshipping, or any type of norm that you're following, that you're disobeying Allah and following the norm. You're purifying yourself from ashirku billah, from worshipping other than Allah. You're purifying yourself from shak and shubuhat, from doubts about the deen. You're also turning to your Lord with al-ikhlasu lillah. You're turning to Allah with ikhlas, sincerity. That's purification. Also, not only that, you're going to purify yourself from evil deeds, evil speech, and the ramifications and the consequences of evil deeds and evil speech. You have to purify yourself from all of those. So when you talk about the sicknesses of the heart, as we said, arrogance, anger, hatred, jealousy, envy, other sicknesses of the heart, like what? Tell me, sicknesses of the heart. Hypocrisy, that's a great one. Kufr, shirk, right? Hey, give me some more. Hasad, we said jealousy. Kaman, give me more, yalla. Love of things that are not befitting to be loved, right? That's a sickness. Come on, more. Yes. Lust, that's a good one. Hubb dunya, love of the worldly life, and more. Sicknesses of the heart. Envy also, we mentioned. Karahiyatul maut, to dislike death, meaning to be afraid to die. More? Yes. Doubt, we mentioned doubt. Yes, doubt is another. Yes. Shahawat, desire, yes ma'am. Corruption. These are realities that must be purified from. We must purify ourselves from these things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us in the Quran al-Azim, as He mentions the Quran, He always likens it to water. Allah Jalla wa Ala keeps telling us in the Quran al-Azim that the Quran is like water that He sends down from the sky, and He brings to life the dead land. Right? Allah says He sends water down from the sky and He brings to life what? The dead land. Just like Allah reveals the Quran from the sky and He brings to life what? The dead heart. The dead heart. So we must understand that there is the connection between purification itself and al-wahi, deen, how it's supposed to clean us up. And there must be a full commitment to it. As for Tahaarah, or purification from the, pool, stool and urine, as well as cleaning yourself, that's secondary. That's like, that's secondary. Right? Getting some urine off your hand, washing it, that's secondary. We focus so much on that, but we don't focus on the other. We focus on so much on, the prayer time came in, let me pray, as opposed to focusing on al-fahsha wal-munkar, getting away from evil deeds and lewdness. So we should understand the difference. So let me give you the 4 types of tahaarah. تطهير الظاهر من الأحداث والأنجاس. Number 1, you cleanse yourself from ahdath, which is using the bathroom, and any type of anjas, any type of impure things. We're going to talk about the things that are impure in a second. Number 2 is cleanse your limbs, your body. You cleanse them from what? الذنوب والآثام. You cleanse them from evil deeds and wrongdoings. That's the second time. The first one is what? Cleansing yourself from impurities, both ritual impurity and actual impurity, pool and things like that. That's the first level. Second one is cleansing yourself of sins and transgression and evil deeds. Number 3, تطهير القلب من الأخلاق المذمومة والرذائل الممقوتة. You cleanse your heart from evil characteristics, ill manners, evil ways. It's the third level. Like, what's the fourth level? تطهير السر عما سوى الله. You cleanse your thoughts of other than Allah. You cleanse your desires of other than Allah. Pardon? So you have 4 types of purification. Number 1, what's the first one? Cleanliness from what? Impurities. That's ritual impurity, wudu and ghusl. And cleanliness from what? Actual impure things. Might be on your clothes, on your hands. That's number 1, first level. Second level, cleansing your body of evil deeds. Third level, cleansing your heart of evil characteristics, ill manners, spiritual sicknesses. But the fourth is to cleanse your thoughts of other than Allah. And scholars like Al-Ghazali, rahmatullahi alayhi, said that this is the point. Number 4 is the point. You want to get to a type of Tahaarah where you cleanse your thoughts. Because that is Tahaaratul Anbiya was Siddiqeen. The cleanliness of the prophets and those who are righteous is that they cleanse their thoughts. They cleanse what? Their thoughts. Why? Because your thought, as the shaitan comes to you with a thought that is inappropriate, a thought that is what? Inappropriate, that's detrimental, that will destroy you or your livelihood, comes with that thought and he plants it in your heart. And when he plants it in your heart, what he does? He pours water on it. He pours water on it until it becomes, your thought becomes a want. It becomes what? A want. It develops. Then he pours water on that want until your want becomes your determinations. You went from thinking to wanting to be determined to do something. And he pours water on that determination until that determination becomes actions. So be careful of your thoughts, because it's easy to get rid of a thought, but it's difficult to get over an action. So if the thought is not that hard to get over, the want is a little harder to get over. Then what you're determined to do is even a little harder to get over. And after that, your actions are harder to get over. So your best bet is to do what? Cut the thought. Exactly. Cut the what? Thought. That's your best bet. Remember, when we talk about purification, we want to be pure of what? Thought. Make sure you're thinking about Allah. Make sure we are thinking about our hereafter. Make sure we're thinking about the hellfire. Make sure we're thinking about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the salihun like Khadija, Aisha, Fatima, Abu Bakr, right? Umar radiallahu anhu. We think about them. We see things. For example, we feel the heat of the sun and it reminds us of the heat of the fire. We enjoy the pleasures of this world and it reminds us of the pleasures of the hereafter, of Jannah. Right? Where now even your thoughts are dictated, are determined by your religiosity, by your spirituality. That's the point we should reach. But most people, you know where they stop? They stop on the first type of tahaarah. They focus on wudu and ghusl and clean clothes. So that a person, so much so, will make wudu 100 times. And a person made wudu and he says, Yallah, it wasn't right. I'm going to go back and make wudu again. I'm going to ghusl. I'm going to focus on clean clothes. Make sure I don't have any dirt on me and so forth. Did you know that the Sahaba, as Prophet Muhammad said, Al-badadatu min al-iman. Our brother, when I said Al-badadatu min al-iman, because you know the hadith, Al-nadafatu min al-iman. Cleanliness is from iman, but also Al-badada. What is badada? Badada is the opposite of Al-nadafa. Badada is unkept, being unkept. Why he said that? Because the Bedouins that accepted Islam found it more difficult. They lived in tents and in the desert, and they got hit by dirt a lot. So if they were just focused on cleaning their clothes, it would be very difficult for them because they were out in the open. It's not like the city folk, you got buildings and stuff like that. But people out in the open, they had a little dust on them, a little dirt on them, right? So they were not as focused on the outer appearance, but they were more focused on what? The inner. Umar radiallahu anhu and the Sahaba, they were less focused on their outer appearance. Umar radiallahu anhu had 2 pieces of clothing. One he wore every day, and one he wore just for when people visited him, a delegation visited him, or Jumu'ah or Eid. 2 pieces of clothing. How many pieces of clothing we got in our closets? Tens. We have so many. How many shoes we got? So many. How many did they have? 1 pair. They weren't concerned about having a whole bunch of clothes. They were concerned about if they cried when they heard Allah's name. That's why Umar radiallahu anhu, as an example, he used to cry so much that you can see the marks of the tears engraved into his face. You know, engraved. You can see the line of tears down his face. That's how much he cried. You know, you take a boulder and a drop drips on the boulder. Eventually, what's going to happen to that boulder? That spot is going to leave a mark, right? It's going to leave a dent. And eventually, if it keeps dripping, it's going to put a what? A hole. That's how much he used to cry. That you can see the indentation of crying on his face. And he was not really concerned about his outer appearance, as much as we are concerned about our outer appearance. I'm not saying, however, now we should go and be looking raggedy. What I'm saying, however, is look presentable, but focus on how you look on the inside. The word khalq and khuluq, same origin. Khalq means your outer appearance. Khuluq is what? Your inner appearance. Same word. Khalq, khuluq. Khalq is your outer appearance. You have nothing to do with it. Meaning how Allah created you. Right? Allah said, وَيَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ. Allah creates what He wants and He chooses. And Allah said, هُوَ الَّذِي يُصَوِّرُكُمْ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. Allah gives you your depiction in the wombs of your mother as He wants to. So you have nothing to do with how you look. Now how you dress, you can have something to do with that. Right? You can have something to do with that. Because of the clothes you pick and so on and so forth. But Allah's not going to hold you accountable for your appearance in front of people. He's going to hold you accountable for how you look on the inside. So we are so concerned in the selfie era of how our selfies look like. And how many people like or dislike or double tap or didn't tap or thumb up or thumb down. We're concerned about it. You put up a post and you keep checking every 5 minutes to see how many comments you had on it. Or see how many people liked it. You're maybe not even concerned about the opposite gender. You want your girlfriends, if you're a girl, or your guys to like it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not concerned about that. Allah, as Rasulullah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَى إِجْسَامِكُمْ. Allah does not look at your figures and your bodies. وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. However, Allah looks at your hearts and your actions. That's what Allah is concerned, where your heart is. Somebody might say, well, if you have bad thoughts, how can you get over them? Because if the point of purification is to be pure of thought, how can I get over my bad thoughts? Anybody ever wondered that before? How can I get over bad thoughts? Raise your hand if you wondered that before. One. Only one person? Only one person in the room? Two, three. Whoever worried about how you get over bad thoughts, raise your hand. Everybody, right? Here are 10 steps to get over bad thoughts. You guys ready? How many steps? 10 before we go on. What am I doing here? I'm giving you the spiritual part before the technical part. I'm giving you the spiritual side of purification, and then we're going to get into, inshallah, what are different types of impurities and how do you make wudu and stuff like that. But if we focus on that first and not the spirituality, Allah, we're just doing the same thing again and again and again. Okay, here we go. Number 1, you must know العلم باطلاع الرب عز وجل ونظره إلى قلبه وعلمه بتفاصيل خواطره. You must, number 1, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is well aware of your thoughts. Well aware. And He is looking at your heart. And He knows the details of your innermost ideas. He knows the details of it. So number 1, how you get rid of bad thoughts? Knowing that Allah knows those thoughts. And He knows the details of your thoughts. Number 2, حَيَاؤُكَ مِنْهُ. You should be shy of Allah. You should be what? Shy. Somebody say shy of Allah. Why? Why not? Huh? Somebody say shy of Allah. Why? Why not? You're shy of everything else, but you're not shy of Allah. Who's more deserving? Allah. For example, you love things and you love people. And you love Allah. Who's more deserving of your love? Allah. You fear things and you fear Allah. Who is more deserving of your fear? Allah. So if everything is more, if basically Allah is more deserving on every level of everything that you are, He's also more deserving of your shyness. You and I should be shy to think a bad thought. Some people used to say about Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, مَا هَمَّ بِسَيِّئَةٍ. He never thought even to do wrong. Wallahu a'lam هذه مبالغة أو لا. No, Allah knows best if this is a, stretching of the facts or not. Right? Some people love Uthman so much, they say, مَا هَمَّ بِسَيِّئَةٍ. He never even thought of doing a bad deed. Which is quite possible. Wallahu a'lam. These are Sahaba, they were great people. So that's what I'm saying, Allah knows best whether it is mubalagha or not. But we expect good from Uthman radiallahu anhu. He was so shy and bashful, even before his Islam, that he had never even made ghusl. He never washed up naked. Uthman radiallahu anhu, hayi. He was so shy, he only made ghusl with clothes on. Yeah, like you know how you make ghusl, right? So Uthman, he made ghusl with his clothes on. He was shy that Allah would see him. Of course he knows Allah sees him, but he was shy to be naked, aware that Allah sees him. And he was shy to be naked, that the angels were seeing him. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was laying down one day, hadith is in Sahih, he was laying down one day and his thigh was showing. Rasulullah's thigh was showing. Like a little bit of his thigh was showing. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu came in. Prophet Muhammad didn't move. He just lay like that. He was relaxing. Chilling, as we say. Yeah, he was chilling. Then Umar came in. Rasulullah still, he was relaxing, chilling. Mustarih, he was chilling, relaxing. A part of his thigh was showing. Uthman came in, then he sat up and he fixed his clothes. So Aisha radiallahu anha said, Abu Bakr walked in, you didn't move. Umar walked in, you didn't move. Uthman walked in, then you changed your position, you covered your leg. Prophet Muhammad said, أَفَلَا أَسْتَحْيِ مِمَّا اسْتَحْيَتْ مِنْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Shouldn't I be shy in front of the person that the angels are shy in front of? What does that mean, ya jama'ah? Brothers and sisters, what is that? Tell me from your best idea, why do you think the angels are shy of Uthman? Because he's shy from Allah. Tayyib, that's true. Did I tell you all before, as Prophet Muhammad said, Al-arwah kal-junud al-mujannadah, that the souls are like recruited troops, that you are influenced by, you're influenced by your environment, basically, right? Uthman was so shy that the angels learned to be shy of him. Does that make sense? Yani the angels, when they are around Uthman, they were shy in front of him because of how shy he was. So he influenced them. Yeah? That is that level that we're talking about when if Uthman can be shy about angels seeing him, right? Can we be shy about Allah? You know, many of us, we don't have no shame. Many of us. Well, I include myself. We're in a society that we grew up in, we don't learn shame. Who are you going to learn shame from? Everybody watch television. Kids, 3 years old, movies, television, Disney. Does it teach you any shame? Shyness, shame? Never. Have you ever met a man who was shy? Please tell me. If you ever met a man who was shy. We expect women to be shy. Sisters, you ever met a man who was shy? Don't be shy that time. It could have been a classmate. It could have been a brother, sister, cousin that was actually shy. Like shy. I never met a shy man in my life until I went to Yemen. My close friend, his name is Hamza. He was so shy, and he and I were exactly the same age. He was so shy that when the sheikh came back from a trip, like if the sheikh went out for a trip and everybody goes to sheikh and give him salam alaikum, welcome back, good to see you, we love you, we miss you. He's too shy to go say salam to the sheikh. Literally, he was literally too shy to go to the sheikh and say salam alaikum. Not only that, he used to be shy of me. Like at first when we became friends, he was shy of me. Then I met his little brother. He took me to his house to meet his family. We ate lunch and everything. Then he said, that's my little brother upstairs. His little brother was literally too shy, and he was maybe, I think I was at the time I was 17. His little brother was at least 12 years old. His little brother was too shy to come down to the stairs to say salam to me. Like he was literally, like he would peek and he would move back. He was shy, totally shy. And I said, I've never seen a guy, a man, shy. I've never seen it before. So, that level of shyness in front of Allah is something we need to learn. Because we don't learn it from our society. It's something that's in the water, it's in the air, it's something. We don't know how to be shy. So we must be shy of Allah. That's number 2. Number 3. إجلاله إجلالك له أن يرى مثل تلك الخواتر في بيته الذي خلقه لمحبته ومعرفته. You should grander, and I should look at Allah with so much reverence that we are ashamed that He would know and see evil thoughts in this house that He made. Allah created this house called the heart. He created it for knowledge of Him and love of Him. So now you're afraid that Allah is going to see in this house of His that He created other than that. I mean, He's going to see these evil thoughts in your mind, in your evil thoughts in your heart. You're afraid of that. That's number 3. Number 4. خوفك أن تسقط من عينه. You should be afraid that Allah doesn't look at you with as much respect. Does Allah respect His believers? Yes. He respects you. He loves you. He admires you. He adores you. So when you have evil thoughts, you should be afraid that because of the evil thoughts, you may be diminished in His sight. Now, a lot of times when you're in front of people, for example, our kids, when they're in front of adults, they don't cuss. I'm sure all of the kids in this masjid right now cuss, especially with their friends. I'm sure Ayub, Zahid, Zubayr, many of our kids are not here today. Some of you, I'm shy to say your names. Not that I have heard you cuss before, but I feel more comfortable saying these. I could beat up on these guys. But I'm sure all of our kids cuss. Ayub, Zahid, welcome to me. Huh? I know you cuss. You know why? Because of the environment you live. And I know you cuss because of the school you go to. So you're not going to cuss in front of adults. But you'll cuss with your friends. I've heard kids just the other day, cussing at each other in the masjid. There was a little kid, like 4 years old. He cussed at another kid. I almost got both of them in trouble for that. So I know that that's there. But the reason why you don't cuss in front of people that you respect is why? You think you want to get hit? I've been telling the truth. Abdurrahman, he's afraid he's going to get hit, right? You're also afraid you don't want people to look at you what? Less. You don't want people to look at you less, right? You don't want people, you don't go around spreading your sins to people, because if people know your sins, they're going to look at you less. So what about Allah? When you talk about purification, when Allah talks about purification, when we're talking about for ourselves and others, we need to understand that even the bad thoughts may diminish you in the sight of Allah. You wouldn't do things to diminish to spoil your reputation in front of other people. So why think thoughts that will spoil your reputation with Allah? That's number 4. Number 5. إِثَارُكَ لَهُ أَن تَسَاكِنَ قَلْبَكَ غَيْرَ مَحَبَّتِهِ. Number 5. You should prefer Allah over any evil thoughts living in your heart. And you should only reserve that heart for love of Allah. Am I talking about mustahil? Am I talking about something that's impossible? Absolutely not. The reason why we have such a difficulty, because we have too many things in our hearts attached. Too many plugs. So when we got so many plugs, you're not leaving no space for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah needs the plugs. What I mean? That all of the plugs in our hearts need to be going back to Allah. Every single plug. But we have so many plugs filled with a bunch of nonsense that we're not leaving any space for Allah. That's number 5. Prefer Allah over anything living or being in your heart that He doesn't love. Number 6. خشيته أن تتولد تلك الخواطر أعمالا خبيثة فتذهب بإيمانك وأنت لا تشعر. You should be afraid. Number 6, you should be afraid that your bad thoughts will give way to further bad thoughts, which will give way to further bad thoughts, that will lead you to actions that will take away your faith while you are not even aware. Thoughts are so important that your thought will lead you to another, which will lead to another, which will lead to another, which will lead to a desire, a statement, an action that you've done, and that stripped your heart of your faith, and you didn't even notice it. Number 7. تصطاد بتلك الخواطر. You must be aware. Number 7. You must be aware that you are being hunted by those thoughts. It's like a trap that you set for a bunny. Puts a carrot on there. Put the carrot on the trap, right? A trap that you set. For example, you go fishing. You put the bait on the fish hook. The fish hook, the bait itself is your thought. You're the fish. So that bait is on there, and you chasing the bait. And then once you bite onto the bait, once the fish bites onto the hook, what happens? It gets reeled in. Be sure, be certain that each thought is a bait for you. And if you clamp onto it, it will pull you. So if you keep that in mind, you can keep the bad thoughts out. We're not done. That was number 7. We're on number what? 8. لا تجتمع الرذيلة والجميلة حتى تغلب أحدهما الأخرى. Evil deeds, evil characteristics, and good deeds don't live in the same heart. They don't live in the same heart. One of them will overcome the other. So if you keep with your bad thoughts, the evil thoughts, be aware, be afraid that the evilness will overcome the goodness of your heart and be dominant and be a majority. And then the goodness becomes a minority. Don't do that. Because if you let the thoughts go, they keep going. You think. You keep thinking, letting shaitan pull you. Now, you are overcome with evil thoughts and your good thoughts are very little. So even when good things happen, all you see is evil. Somebody did something for you, you're offended. You think I need that? Right? Somebody call, check up on you, you're like, why you check up on me now? You check up on me before? I ain't heard from you in 3 months. Man, you want to call me? Right? Because you're so overcome with evil thoughts that even when people do good for you, you don't see good. You see evil. You see a reason to complain or to make a remark. Number 9. You should know أنها بحر من بحور الخيال التي لا ساحل لها. You need to know that your thoughts is a huge ocean with no shore. It is a huge ocean. It has no limit. Your thoughts. So go ahead. You keep thinking, you're going to drown. You will drown to your thoughts. The evil thoughts. That's what I'm talking about. You will drown there. It's better to what? Don't even jump in the ocean. Stay on the shore. Because once you start to thinking with the evil thoughts, they will pull you and you will be overcome and drowned by your thoughts. Number 10. لا تثمر لصاحبها إلا الخزي والندامة. Evil thoughts will only bring you to regret. That's it. Evil thoughts can... Why? Because now, even if you fulfill the evil thought, even if you fulfill it, for example, you looked at something you weren't supposed to, you thought about it, then you did it. Can you have that thing? No. Is your desire fulfilled of that thing? No. It's not fulfilled. Because that's something it's desirable, it caught your eye, and you look at it deeper. At the end of the day, you know what you're doing? You're torturing yourself. Because you can't have that. It's not yours. So what do you keep looking at it for like you're going to get it? You're not. It doesn't belong to you. So it's torture at the end of the day. You're torturing yourself. So when you torture yourself, now you regret. You can't have it anyway. Like a person who's addicted to watching pornography. And we have many Muslims like that. Kid came to me, he was 10 years old. He said, Imaam, he said, I have a problem. I said, what's your problem, son? He said, I'm addicted to pornography and masturbation. Which is, handling yourself. It's not allowed in Islam. So I'm addicted to it. He's 10 years old. I gave him advice. I said, you have to replace it with something better. Know that Allah is watching you. Right? Do more reading Quran, pray, do these things because it's going to help you pull your heart out. And I don't really remember the rest of my advice, but I gave him some advice. And I think he took it, alhamdulillah, very well. My point is, you're a person who's addicted to that, you're torturing yourself. You're not going to get that. For example, our sisters who have these ideas of what the body should look like and all this and all that, you keep looking on Instagram, wishing you look like the next person. What is wrong? You're torturing yourself. You're torturing yourself. Your value is not based on someone else's picture or how you are attracted as a girl to a certain look, a certain hairstyle, a certain figure. So you're attracted to that and you wish you had it. So you keep putting yourself down because you don't look like that. And I bet you that person put themselves down because they don't look like somebody else. You think that because that person has a certain body that they're happy with themselves because they can take a good picture and pose? You may be amazed by it, but they may have lower self-esteem than you have. So what are you torturing yourself for? Thinking that, oh, if only I had. What are you talking about? You mean if only you had Iman? If only you had Iman, your life would be better. If only you truly revered Allah, your life would be better. If only we read a little more Quran, our lives would be better. Why are you focusing on things that you're actually torturing yourself by? Oh, somebody's nails look good. I want one like that. Okay, you get that one. Then you find somebody else's nails is better than that. Then you go get that. Now you're chasing nails. What? Chasing lipstick. Chasing mascara. Chasing makeup. Boys, you too. Tattoos. What is this? I'm about to dig in now. Hold up, y'all. I want you to listen to me. And the haircuts and the tattoos and the dyes and the smoking. Right? And the cuss words, right? Come on. So you were saying the regular cuss words, now you're saying the really bad cuss words, and in front of the teacher too. Pardon?
Like how even I noticed their parents, the men, they dress with their pants up high and like classy men, but because they see everybody in the streets sagging.
Yeah, sagging.
Wearing Gucci belts and all that.
Right. So you're chasing it. So you know what you're doing? You think that if only I had sag pants, I'll be better. If only I had a Gucci belt, people would like me. Who cares if people like you or not? You care? I don't know why. Why do you care? Isn't it more important that your maker loves you and appreciates you? That's more important. So if you have Allah and nothing else, guess what you have? Everything. And if you have everything but you don't have Allah, guess what you have? Nothing at all. So what are you chasing? That's why the believer is upon basira. The believer is upon insight. We don't need the fake nails and the mascara and the Gucci belt and the sagging pants. I realized the other day I used to sag my pants. I used to sag my pants. Abid Zahid, I used to. Zubair, Jimmy, I used to sag. Abdullah, Frosty, I used to sag my pants, man. But you know what? I realized that the reason why I sag my pants, number one, it's because I didn't know any successful men in my community that didn't sag their pants. Where the successful men at? Where were the ideals? Where was the Abdul Ghanis when I was a kid? Where was the Libhis? Where was the Abdul Rahmans? You guys weren't around. I don't know. You guys were at the Masjid. I don't know. When I was a kid, I didn't know any successful family men. All the kids that I grew up with, all of our fathers are dead or in jail. I'll keep telling you guys the same story because it has a real impact on these kids. So I sagged my pants because we thought that tight pants, fitting pants was not cool. So we sagged our pants so it looked baggy because baggy was cool. But so when you sag your pants, then your behind is out. Following norms that have no worth. We were more focused on how many, if you can rap or you can do this or you can do that, how many girls you can get and all that stuff. It's really adab. It's punishment, man. You're torturing yourself, chasing fake facades. And that's why tatheer, purification, means to be rid of all of this stuff. As we discussed yesterday, the ubudiyah, servitude to Allah, is freedom from everything else. Otherwise, you're fi riq wa fi ubudiyah. You're in servitude and slavery to every desire. You're a slave. Alhamdulillah. So, these are 10 things that you can do to get rid of your bad thoughts. And if you can master that, alhamdulillah, or you can get towards mastering it, you'll find that you will not abandon any wajib or any sunnah. You won't leave off anything that is obligatory or that is encouraged. You're going to do both. You're going to do encouraged and obligatory things. Also, you must not only get rid of bad thoughts, but you must replace them with what? Good thoughts. So that when you think of Allah, you think of hereafter, you think about what you should say, not what people want you to say, and so forth. These are things, inshallah, that will help you get over bad thoughts. That is the spiritual side to purification, at-Tahaarah. Any questions, comments, concerns, reservations, or suggestions on that? Yes, ma'am.
So you say that Tahaarah is half of faith?
Taharatu shatrul iman, half of faith. Yes, right. Yes.
And marriage is another half?
Marriage is another half, yes. That's a good question. I love those questions. Our sister said, if you, marriage is half of faith, and Tahaarah is half of faith, so if you have both, you got full faith? I hope so. I hope so. He said, At-Tahuru Shatrul Iman. You know why Prophet Muhammad said, At-Tahuru Shatrul Iman? Because Tahur is izala. Tahur is removing of something. Basically, the absence of something. Removal of something is half of your faith. What does that mean? When you say La ilah, you're removing all gods. There is no God. Illallah. The other half is except Allah. When you want to do the good things, you must stop doing what? First, bad things. Stop bad thoughts, stop bad. Like a person who cuss like a sailor, for example. People cuss. Every time they turn around, cuss. They got to stop cussing first and then start replacing it with what? Good words. It takes time. Tahur means then half of your deen is not doing something, and then the other half is what? Doing the opposite. That's what Prophet Muhammad meant, At-Tahuru Shatrul Iman. And also Iman, if you refer to Iman as prayer, as Allah referred to prayer as Iman, that Allah does not cause your Iman to go to waste, which is your prayer in that case. Half of the prayer, meaning first, before you pray, you must be what? Pure. You must be clean. As for marriage being the half of faith, I have not looked into the understanding of how marriage is half of faith. I have not looked into it, so I don't know. But I do know, because I've looked into the issue of Tahur Shatrul Iman, I know why that is the case. So inshallah, we'll look and see why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said marriage is half of faith. In what way? Inshallah. As of now, I'm ignorant of the reasons. I didn't look up into it, alhamdulillah. But inshallah, we'll look up and understand it together. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
What's the Islamic position of makeup?
Islamic position on makeup. So beautification in general is allowed for women, but in the homes. That is a position in front of their maharim, in front of the boys, the men of their home that they're allowed to be in front of, or uncovered in front of, like their husbands and their fathers and their brothers and so forth. That a woman can beautify herself, no problem. But beautification outside the house is not permitted. Now, what do we mean by beautification? Going beyond, really beautifying yourself. Now, wearing good clothes is understandable. Being presentable, that's understandable. But makeup and so forth in public is not allowed for women. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did, as we said, He allowed it in the households. Now, if it's makeup that is harming you, like it has bad chemicals and stuff in it, then it's not allowed, because you're not allowed to harm yourself. So we should be careful of that, but alhamdulillah. But many of our girls, unfortunately, they don't feel really good about themselves. They don't have high self-esteem. I would say a part of the reason of that is because the fathers don't know that you have to tell your daughter that she's beautiful. And you have to tell her she's really beautiful. And you have to tell her frequently. Just like you have to tell your wife that she's beautiful, you have to tell your daughter too. Now, you have to teach her that her value, however, is not in her beauty. Her value is where? In her faith. So she doesn't have to get confused when she go outside and see her girlfriends or her friends wear a bunch of makeup and feel like, oh, now I'm going to put my value in how I look. I'm going to feel better about myself because of how I look. No, you should not feel better about yourself because of how you look. You should feel better about yourself because you are nearer to Allah. And you should feel bad about yourself if you are distant from Allah. So I would say a lot of it, though, brothers, is the fault of the father. We are not showing our daughters attention. So they go out and get attention from Billy and John and Trey and Dante and that. It's a reality. You live in America. You don't live back home. And if you don't show your daughters attention, they're going to get it. And maybe they might not be doing it for attention. They feel like they're doing it for themselves. They should know also that their value is not in how they appear even to themselves. It might make you feel better, but that's not where your worth is. Your worth is in your nearness or distance from Allah. So, it's okay to look good for yourself, but look good for yourself. When you come outside, it's another story. Now you're looking good for others. And of course, it's a touchy topic because it's something that's common. Everybody want to look good for others and so forth. Especially our sisters. If they want to look good for themselves, for the most part, or they want to look good for their sisters, or they want to look good for boys. It's a very tricky and very sensitive topic. But your value and your worth is not in how you appear. Your value and your worth is where your heart is and how distant or far you are from Allah. Yes, ma'am. Okay, who else do you think?
There's a lot that, like for mothers, there's a huge emphasis on beautification and stuff rather than like beauty, like personality-wise and stuff like that. Like you see mothers that they'll go shopping like for designer stuff for their children and stuff like that, and there's like a big emphasis on, oh, if my child doesn't have her hair done, she's gonna be looking. It's like women are very competitive, so I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on that. And of course, if you're raising your daughters like that, they're gonna think, okay, I have to compete with everyone. If I don't wear this, I don't look better than them. If I'm not looking like this, I don't look better. It's like, I don't know, you have to be.
So basically the main issue, the initial influence is from mother and father. So my brother and sister, my mother and father, if your daughter is wearing makeup a lot, then the first people you should be looking at is yourself and your wife, or yourself and your husband. That's a first. You should think to yourself, what environment did we put our child in, or we didn't put our child in, that my daughter thinks that she has to go out wearing a bunch of makeup to be accepted? What did I do or what didn't I do where now that's what she thinks? Because the kids learn first from who? Parents. And if the parents leaving the kids to learn from other things, it's still parents left the kid to learn from other things. But a lot of times if you went through divorce and you separated and that hurts the kid and then the kid goes about trying to find themselves, it's so many different reasons why children do the things that they do. But most of it refers back to who? Parent. So please be introspective. Look at yourself as a parent. Look at yourself as a Muslim. Look at how you treat your wife or how you treat your husband. Look at the environment you're in. Look at how much time you spend with the kids, how much you actually know them, how much they respect you. Look at all of those factors and you'll see that you may have played a huge part in the bad decisions that they make. They're still responsible for their decisions, but you may have played a big part in it, and you probably could have prevented it, and you still can't prevent it. But it can't be with the finger like this now, because you have created, as we say, the monster that you dislike. You created this, meaning not literally created, but because of the environment, because of how you behave, because of how you treat your spouse, all of that has kind of directed this child to the decision that they make. So now that they're there, don't do like this, because it's not going to help them. You need to do like this. Now you need to listen. Talk to me. What's going on? You can trust me. I'm not going to judge you. I just need to know what's going on. Because parents, the first thing they do, judge their kids. We all judge our kids. We judge our kids in like 6 months. 1 year, judging your child. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Get down. Stop touching that. Blah, blah. That's what we do. So as a kid is growing, we keep that same tone with the kid. You know? And then after a while, the kid don't want to talk to you. Every time you open your mouth, you just shut down. So when you start saying something, he like this. They don't want to listen. So please, parents, we have to really parent from a different approach. Do a lot of this. Listening. Do a lot of respect. Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, when Fatima used to come in, he would kiss her head and give her his seat. Even if he's in a, we on the phone, we like, hey, be quiet, 1 second, I'm on the phone. We brush our kids away all the time. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even if he's in an important meeting and Fatima came in, he didn't say get out. He get up, kiss her head, and sit her in his feet, and then he would sit down. These are things that we don't know, and it's hard to practice. But when you show your kids respect, they respect you back. If we keep brushing our kids away and treating them and talking to them the way that we do, we're going to see that they're going to make a lot of bad decisions, and many of it is prompted because of how we treat them. Yes, Lena?
So, in a simplified way, how can you answer a kid that asks you, when we say that our religion is the right way, what if it's like they are afraid that maybe the other religions are also like the truth and ours is not the truth. So how do you answer a kid that asks you that in a simplified way?
How do you answer a kid that says, how do you know Islam is the truth? And what age are you talking about? Are you talking about 10, 12, reading?
10, 11.
10, 11, okay. And if the child is able to read, the greatest evidence of Islam being the truth is the Quran al-Azim, the Quran itself.